We're going to shift gears here a second and try to do, like I said, our first discussion panel. I've done a number of these. I've come to a lot of events, and these are some of my favorite things because it's just a fireside chat. We're just trying to have some authentic conversation about things that are very important to everyone. The subject of burnout, I think, is something that everyone can relate to. Whether you're a business, a creator, or any of that. So I'd like to invite to the stage now our group of panelists. We have Jonathan from Keep Making, Pierre, the Swedish maker, Mr. Proper Printing himself, John Schoen, and of course, Carlos from Carlos 3D. Welcome back, gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Now, as I mentioned to start, I think burnout is a subject that probably affects everybody personally, whether you're a creator or not. But as a creator, this is something I think that I look at and I go, I cannot do what you guys do on a regular basis. To be presenting to the world, just seems like it would be absolutely exhausting. So first of all, show of hands, how many of you out there would just say you've experienced burnout at some point in your life? Like everyone, right?
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and we're not even full up yet from people in here. I think everybody can say that. But John, I want to start with you because as a creator, I think there is something particularly intense about burnout and the content churn cycle and the need to constantly be chasing the next high-performing video. Can you speak to that for a second?
Yes, you don't need to be constantly on. At least in my case, I upload a video maybe once every 1.5 months. So most of the time the work is done behind the scenes. But what really a difficult thing for me is that initially I'm over-promising. So I'm excited in the beginning, I'm going to do this, and at some point you get used to it, and then it feels like it's work now. So I have promised, to my Patreon supporters, I'm going to make behind-the-scenes footage, I'm going to share my files, and at one point the excitement fades away a bit, and then it starts to feel like work. And then, so if I would look back at myself, then I would say just under-promise. And then if you find more energy later on, then you can add things instead of just going all in immediately and then, coming across yourself.
Yeah, very good. So if I can just back up for a second and maybe give some context to everybody, because I think you probably all have a different workflow that you work with. Can each of you just really quickly say what your target release schedule might be, if you have one? And if you don't, just say, I don't. I just kind of go as the ideas come. So starting with you, Jonathan.
Mine has changed so much, but as it currently stands, it's get things ready and then put it out, because I've tried to do things weekly for about 4 years, and I did that for a good 3 years, and now it's just, I'm in my 6th burnout right now. And I just now gone, you know what, I've got to just do it right for myself first and then put it out. So that's how I'm going about it right now.
How about you, Pierre?
Yeah, but I started weekly as well. That's back when I had a real work as well. Like I was posting weekly, but working full-time as a teacher. And then when I went full-time into content creation, I realized I had to slow this down because I couldn't keep up. And so I'm constantly slowing down, but I would say a video a month at least.
Once a month. John, what's your release cycle?
I started with bi-weekly for, I think, over a year. And the funny thing is that the more time I put in the channel, the less my upload frequency became. So now I'm aiming at once a month, but the last time when I reached that was, I think, 3 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. How about you, Carlos?
Well, I'm just trying to find out my schedule. Right now I have like a pacing of 1 per month, but now I want to upload 2 per month. And for that, I just realized that I needed help. So I just contacted a friend of mine who makes editing, and I was like, maybe this is a good idea because I would just focus myself on doing what I love, like creating stuff, not editing part. But it comes with challenge, right? Because you need to work with a team, like trying to teach them, but they know what they are doing, right? But you need to teach how you work for editing. So I'm just in that process right now. I think it's doing okay, and maybe in the next month we are going to have like two videos per month.
Yeah, obviously it's a ever-changing, evolving process, probably for each of you. So a little more context then. How many of you guys still have another job that you're trying to do on top of content creation? Are you full-time at this point?
I was, but life, like I said, we
Changed?
got a new apartment with my wife,
Yeah.
and that's another thing that maybe we are going to manage to talk with.
Talk about family and that
yeah,
element as
because
well? Yeah,
like
sure.
being a content creator, and maybe we are so much in the we need to create content, I need to do it fast, I need to do this, I need to do that, and you forget about your loved ones, right?
Sure.
So I just got some emergency call or red flags from my wife, like, hey, what the fuck? You have a life here. And I was like, yeah, but I need to put this, I need to upload this, I need to do this.
Sure.
So I think, sorry, I just completely
No.
changed the subject, but I think some of the burnout situation that I got were coming from that, like trying to be so much into content and forget that you have a life going, and then remember that some situations happens around you, and that's where
No, it's
crazy
very
things
appropriate.
happen.
Family is more than a full-time job, obviously, so very clear. John, are you still working as well on top of your content creation?
No, full time.
He's full-time now. And Pierre, you mentioned you were a teacher before.
I used to be a teacher, yeah, and now I'm full-time since a year and a half ago, I think.
Okay.
But I wanted to pick up on that because if we have time for a quick anecdote.
Please.
Because last week my daughter is 4. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and she'd been to the bathroom, and she uses a potty. It's one of those, you can lift up one of the buckets inside and empty into the actual toilet. So I was doing that, and my phone rang, and it was 7 in the morning. So I thought, I have to pick up, because who calls at 7 in the morning? So I picked that up, and it's this mother who wants to organize a play date. And I said yes to her, but in reality, I should have said no, because we couldn't do it that day. And then my wife said, why'd you say yes? And I said, because I'm stressed. And she said, what are you stressed about? And I said, well, I'm recording a video, I'm editing the video, I'm also making the project. Then I'm doing the accounting, and I'm doing the scripting, and I'm standing here with a bucket of my daughter's poo in one hand and my phone in the other. I can't deal with this as well, because it feels quite privileged to talk about, I'm a content creator and I have a burnout. It's quite a luxury thing to do in life, but
Absolutely.
it's also a lot of stuff that needs doing.
Yeah, Jonathan, you're in a very, I don't want to say unique, because we all have a different circumstance here, but obviously trying to run a business and a massive project also, and then also doing creating on top of that. So none of us seem to ever just have one job, right? Like that's the common thread with any maker, it feels like. We would just be too bored if we were doing the same thing over and over again. But can you speak a little bit about that mix and what that does to your burnout feels?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So first I would say that all creators are actually businesses as well. It's something that many people don't realize, is that there's this weird sort of growth when it comes to a creator where all of a sudden you realize, oh, hold on, this is getting a lot harder than I expected. It just constantly grows, one thing on top of the next, and then there's the churn train of the algorithm will kill you if you don't keep it up.
Consistent.
Yeah, and then what happens then is you basically sort of fork off. It's either I'm going to just do it my way, or I'm going to have to turn this into more of a business, get more people involved, which then takes you out of the creative juice that you've been in this entire time. So I've gone the absolute other extreme, which is, okay, I love being a creator, and I'm now, if I really want to make what I'm making right this minute, which is multi-board, turn it into something even bigger, I need to turn it into a company to then be able to self-sustain and build a community around it, to then be able to go back into me being just a creator, so that can withhold itself. So when it comes to being a company side of things, It's what most creators eventually come to is getting people on board, taking on an editor or a team or an accountant to deal with the stress of it so that you have more time for your own creative space. The more of being a creator, the more successful you are, you're always trying to get back to the beginning days, which is just you in your basement making cool stuff.
Just want to make cool stuff. Like, that's
Just
what
wanna
everybody
make
says.
cool
It's just
stuff.
want to make cool stuff.
Yeah, and it's ultimately, that's what I'm striving for right this minute, is basically getting to this point of homeostasis where it just stays in where I want it to be and I can just go back to making stuff all the time. Yeah.
Show of hands in the crowd. How many out there run a business or are a creator? So, okay, so this is something that I think we can all relate to. My question back to the crowd, and I'm going to start with you, Pierre, because you brought up all of the little things that you're doing. Like, did you anticipate that it was going to have to be any of that? Is this what you expected when you started your creator journey? Or have you learned it's just like, wow, this is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be?
Yeah, I didn't expect it at all, and it started like a basement hobby, like you said, and it was. I don't know how I managed to do what I did back then, but then I guess I didn't have to deal with the pressures of now, since you do it full time, you have to earn the living. When I was doing a separate work, I didn't need to earn a living from it. I could just see the income as a bonus, basically. But now I depend on making the money, which adds pressure, I suppose.
Sure. John, is this what you expected? Is this the glamorous life that everybody thinks it is?
No, I didn't expect it. For a part, I was hoping it. Well, you see YouTube Live, you will go to traveling and everything. But I never expected to reach 1,000 subscribers. So I never expected to have the problems of, I have to reply to so many emails. It's like an interesting luxury problem, but it's hard. So no, I didn't expect it.
Yeah. But in the words of someone wise, once it's like the more followers, more problems kind of thing. It grows, and then you start to realize, wow, it's taking on a life of its own. Carlos, you mentioned family, obviously, like that's a huge component. So how has this panned out compared to what you thought it would be originally?
Well, funny story. It all began on 2020 because I was having something we call in France apéro. So it's like just before dinner, you just hang out with friends and drink. So we were having apéro with my friends in Mexico, and I was making fun of one of my friends because he is a content creator, a very famous one in Mexico, but he is like lifestyle kind of content. So I was mocking him like, yeah, whatever, go make your videos. And he was like, okay, come and make the videos. And I was like just scratching a little bit. Okay, do you earn money with this? And he explained me a little bit and was like, oh yeah. Kind of ignorance, right? And I was like, okay, good. So you put a camera in front of you and you filmed it and that's it. And he was like, go ahead, please be my guest. And I just started like that. And I was like, okay, this is difficult, but also it's very cool. Like I need to learn more. I need to learn editing, trying to get a new microphone and such. So I started like that. And what happened, and I will share with you, this is personal stuff, but we are in family here, is like when I just started to go this path of content creation and doing what I love, people around me were like a little bit scary because, of course, my wife was like, I don't know if that's a good call. You are an engineer, you are earning very well in this company. Where this path is going to lead you, I don't know. And I said to her, I don't know neither, but I want to try it. And also I was like burning out from my job. So it was like a quite difficult situation around there. Then again, I just called my sister in Mexico and I was like, I don't know what to do. And she was the first to tell me like, don't quit your job. So she was more into the kind of security of things. And I wasn't expecting that because I think we all expect that people say to us what we want to hear. But when they tell us different, you are like, which side are you, right? But that's That's a very deep question, and at the end of the day, I don't have the final answer. I just discovering time at the time, each day at the same time. I think 4 years ago was really difficult. Right now, people are getting into the period of we are really proud of you, but I think I speak for all of us. Like beginning it can be really hard, and then you got this little space and moment in time that it's really hard. Right. When you are trying to decide yourself, and then it's when you need to take the decision if you are going to commit on the content creator things.
You brought up so many interesting nuggets with that. The first of which I want to say is like for all of you, what is visible to the general public about the lifestyle and what you're doing obviously is very different from what the real work is, right? Because it's just like they're watching the video, they're watching the end product with like none of the everything under the tip of the iceberg. But it's got to be something that as a creator you're constantly challenged, because of the perception for people that don't know this has to be that you just live a charmed life, that it's a glamorous lifestyle and whatnot. What advice do you guys have, I guess, for other creators in terms of like making it sustainable? Because the other point that Carlos brings up that I think you could all probably speak to is like we all have it's a very personal question. How do you balance security with just the need to do your own thing and control your own destiny? I mean, that's really tough. Do you want to start with that? That's a huge question.
It's so first, this isn't, so I've got multi-board and I've got keep making, which are two very different things. The keep making side of things is the content creating side of things, and multi-board is, well, it was a project inside of keep making, which then just absolutely exploded. But that's my 6th YouTube channel. So I've been doing it for a while, and when it comes to it, I've learned through a lot of failure, and that is basically try your best to start out how you want to continue. Because if you start setting an incredibly high bar of expectation here, and then you're like down the road 6 months, 1 year, whatever, you got your first 1,000, it's like, oh, I'm going to take it to the next level, so make sure you subscribe. It's like, hold on, you've already set the bar here. You think, can you keep that bar there for the next 7, 10 years? What's the long-term goal? So it's better to hit a consistency bar and hit that over and over again. And that's what actually gets through any algorithm, because that's how you build an audience. That's how you build a core community that will carry you along, rather than trying to hit the fad and being exceptional all the time. You can't do that forever.
Absolutely.
So that's my key thing for if you're getting into this space, keep it consistent and think long term, because you won't be able to keep whatever you think. Actually, who was it? There was I've forgotten the person who came up with the ideas. Is the way they come up with YouTube ideas is, I'm going to come up with 50 crazy YouTube ideas, and then I'm going to go, okay, now if I only had 10% of the time, which of those ideas would I be able to do? And now if I only had 10% of the energy that I think, and then that's what you deliver out. Because when you first start off, you think, no, I can hit all of those ideas.
Yeah.
But as you get further and further down that line, you'll burn out. Yeah. If you try to hit all the crazy ideas that you see everywhere all the time. So,
Pierre, how do you keep it manageable? How do you keep it sustainable for you?
I think one of the key things for me is just to remember that, like, the word no is also a sentence, but there's a lot of external pressure at times, or has been to me at least, because it's really cool when a company reaches out and say, hey, do you want to try our new 3D printer? And you go, yeah, what do I need to do? Just a video. Okay, let's go. And then another company reaches out, and you're like, eventually you reach a point where you're doing too much for not yourself, but for everyone else instead, and the external pressure. So saying no has been really important to me.
Yeah, that's a huge tip, honestly. Yeah. John?
I'm a perfectionist, and that really doesn't help. There's always something wrong in the video, and I always try to one-up myself till the point that's like, it's difficult to always try to be better. It's well, you need to be take a step at a time and improve yourself all the time. You need to be better than your yesterday's self. But it's also good to be as good as your yesterday's self.
How many out there can relate with that? Who would say they're a perfectionist out there? So like Carlos, how much of this pressure is self-imposed then?
Sorry, say again?
How much of this pressure is self-imposed that we put on ourselves versus like other people putting it on us?
I think a lot, right?
Most
I
of
think
it?
a lot is coming from us. Like John said, I think we are kind of perfectionists because we want to make like our baby kind of things. But I can relate what you said before. Like maybe we are just aiming like space when you need to begin in ground level. So I think like Pitbull said in the Instagram short, like pasos cortos, vistas largas, like short step, long vision kind of stuff make more sense.
Yeah.
I would also say that a lot of our self-imposed pressures, if we actually get down to like the core of it, they are driven by external factors. And I found that when those pressures are driven by external factors, those are the ones that dig in the deepest. Because if it's just a pressure of yourself, at the end of the day, you're the one that gets to take that pressure off. But if technically you take your foot off and you're like, hold on, the pressure's still on me, why? And then you realize, oh wait, it's because I've made a promise for this, or I feel like I need to hit this for XYZ people. And as you get bigger, there's more people. And the more people, the more pressure.
It's crazy how you all seem to agree that you're your own worst enemy sometimes in this entire thing.
I had, for instance, I'm currently working on a video, and I had this single shot with a camera slider going towards the monitor, and it was a bit of barrel distortion. It looked like, and I was editing it, and I forgot about my mouse cursor was there. I was like, oh. I redid the whole thing. I got the camera slider back, and I reshoot it because I cannot live with it. And I was so frustrated by myself, knowing that no one will care but me.
Right.
And it took me several hours of reshooting it just because of.
I want to bring up something that a close creator friend of mine, Bill Duran, that runs Punish Props, said, and I apologize because it involves cursing, but this has been a mantra that I've tried to take into my life, and I wonder how each of you feel about it. He goes, if it's not fuck yes, it's fuck no for me. And so it's like his whole concept is like, if I'm not super fired up about doing this, I should be saying no, to your point, the power of no. How do you guys feel about that? Like, is that a luxury that we don't always get to afford, or is it like something that you're each at now where you feel like you could probably stand to be a little more selective?
A problem that I'm facing with that is that 10 out of 10 ideas I have are initially fuck yes. Like, oh shit. And what I try to do is sometimes I just say, okay, I'm going to record the video right away, I'm excited, and then during the making, it's like, maybe it's not a fuck yes. So now I'm having this filter of when I have a new idea, I park it for at least a month, and then after a month, see if it's still a fuck yes, and then...
A month? Okay.
Yeah, at least.
What's your marinating period for like, is this still a good idea, Carlos? Don't know?
You just
Don't
go
know.
for it.
No pattern.
go
Just
for it.
YOLO. Carlos is YOLO. He's just like, let's go.
Well, for example, I got a funny story and painful story about a 3D scanner. They sent me a 3D scanner, and they were like, yeah, make a video of it. And I didn't want it to make like the I will scan myself kind of things. So I was speaking with a friend of mine who makes like joke 2D drawings. So long story short, we made an idea like we are going to mock about people making this kind of projects, and we are going to create the Carlos non-action figure. And we just create the packaging about this action figure, non-action figure, and we put it like, it doesn't work, it's completely useless, it doesn't have a big account of followers on YouTube, so kind of stuff. It doesn't come with accessories. And I was like, yeah, and we were working like 1 week and a half, and then the AI kind of starter pack came out, and I was like, oh, and I just discarded everything. And then another idea popped out, like, okay, what we can do with this scanner. And I was like, oh yeah, now I see. Let's scan a broken wall on my village to 3D print like a custom plug and make it beautiful, because people in France say that my hometown is like not beautiful at all. So I was like, yeah, this is a good idea, let's go. So I just started making the script, and I just realized, like, is this even work? So I went to scan 3 walls, so it was really a pain. And then I just spent 1 week trying to make it work, and it didn't work. So maybe next time I should get like 1 month period of thinking about things before saying, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Pierre, how are you been in yes and no decision making?
Like I would like to have a producer, sometimes just saying, that's not a good idea, Pierre. But I don't, so it's normally fuck yes. But nowadays I kind of script my videos, and that usually takes at least a couple of days. So sometimes I realize down the road, like, yeah, this is no good, is it? And so I'm kind of my own producer, but yeah.
Just really quick, a note. I'm going to ask a couple more questions, and then I'm going to turn to you guys as the audience so that you can address anybody that's up here too, because we want you guys to be interactive, okay? I want to pivot for a second here. Each of you have kind of mentioned a team, but again, for context, like, what is the size of the team you're working with? Are you solo? Can you speak to, how involving others makes your life easier and harder, maybe sometimes?
Yeah, team building is... What's really interesting is, especially in this space, the maker-creator space, it's actually really hard to build a team, to find the manpower behind that has the skill set. And because it's a real niche. It's a niche of a niche. And then on top of that, you're trying to build a team of a niche of a niche. And then that's really painful at times. But yeah, building a team, it's trying to find people that have the same vision, the people that you agree with, and then figuring out how to work that all together. So for instance, myself, I've just built a team in the last year, from literally being a solo creator to now across all, so I have a multitude of brands. Across all of the brands, it's now a total of like 14 heads. It's a lot. And yeah, I'm now, I hate to say this, but I'm now in more meetings every week than I am.
It's like you're becoming a project manager.
Yeah,
more
and I don't like that.
Yeah.
You should hire a project manager.
Exactly, hire a project manager, but it's
More people, more problems.
exactly higher quality problems.
Yeah, John. What about you? You've recently brought on an intern, I believe, and then you've worked with various team members over the years.
Yeah, it's some things are easy to outsource. At least bookkeeping is just no-brainer. And for the intern, that's really nice because I have several designs, but they are just good enough for the video. And some of them are interesting to develop further. So I don't have the time for it. So the intern is an engineer, and he is improving on the design, and he has the time to fully dedicate his time to it and do the proper testing. And I hired my friend for 1 day a week as a personal assistant, which is everything not making videos is what he is picking up.
Would he say you're easy to manage or hard to manage?
It's easy to manage, but it feels as an extra obligation.
I meant you. Would he say you're easy to manage or hard to manage?
That's a good question.
Maybe you should ask him.
Yeah, I should.
Would he be honest enough with you, do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. That's a good person to find.
Yeah.
Carlos, would bringing on more people make your work easier and less prone to burnout, or would that stress you out more?
Well, I'm just started, so it's like 1 month ago or 2 that I just asked for help for editing. It's not been so smooth as I was expecting to be, because different people, different ways to think about how to transmit an idea. I'm improving myself, so that's a good thing because she gave me like, dude, you just gave me a lot of videos. How I'm supposed to editing? And I was like, yeah, makes sense. I'm making like folders. Of course, there is the script, and I was like, the script is over there. Yeah, but I have like hundreds of videos, and I was, oh yeah, makes sense. So now it's like getting feedback from people and getting an outsider view. It's good because also this girl is like telling me like, maybe next thing when you film yourself, you can make like this kind of shot, you can make this kind of joke, and so I think working with a team is improvement. It can be really tricky because, as you said, I worked with people before. I will not say that I was scammed, but people were not involved in my project, so they were doing the bare minimum, and I was like, I didn't expect you to have this result. And they were like, yeah, well, you paid for this such amount of work, and that's the result. And at the same time, I was like, yeah, but if you needed more money, just tell me, and maybe we can arrange, So it's kind of tricky to get a people working with you. Right now, the only thing I must say is like I'm trying to get consistently of thumbnails. So for me, the guy who is working to make the thumbnails is like a no-brainer to say no. So every video has he's doing the work. For the editing, I'm just trying to balance between budget and what we can do together.
It's never as easy as just handing something over and being like, go, right? Pierre, how much when you're thinking about the potential bringing on more people and making your life easier, like how much is the perfectionist mindset that we talked about earlier, like the big part of the challenge, because nobody is going to really care the way you care about your content. Like it's hard to like just pass your voice and your style on to someone else.
I think it's a big deal. I used to have an agency respond to all my incoming emails, and I didn't like the way they responded to emails, so I took it back. So I guess that is a big part of me as well, being the perfectionist. But I think it was quite interesting. I met two really big YouTubers last year, Maker Central in Birmingham, like really big, like 15 million, both of them. But one of them were doing all of his stuff on his own, like editing everything. He had Colin Firth.
Talking about Colin, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a guy helping him with various tasks, but he's doing everything himself. And the other guy...
James Hacksmith?
Yeah. And he was on the brink of burnout, and he had lots of employees, and I found that really, like... Colin Firth felt really relaxed. James didn't, so I figured I'm going to go down the Colin Firth path and try to do as much as I can myself before I really hire someone. I need to know that it's going to be a long-term solution.
That's great. All right, I want to take that. We got about 13 minutes left. I want to give the crowd an opportunity to ask you guys questions too, if that's okay. So if you got a question, Dave, I'm going to start with you, and then just use the mic so people on the stream can hear you. Okay.
Hello, guys. I experience burnout all the time. And I'm going to just say, before I get to my question, that for me, burnout is kind of finding value in what you're doing. And once you lose that value, that's when you start experiencing that burnout. And that burnout also is a good reminder to yourself that burnouts happen. It's going to happen. It's a cyclic thing, of a creative. We all have our really high creative moments, and then we have our very low moments. So I have learned to accept the burnout and then to embrace it and to just experience it. And I have personally found ways to get through my burnout, learning how to, just experience it, get through with it. So the question is, now that we talked about burnout, now that you're in the burnout, what is it that you guys have done that, helped you get past it? Sometimes you can't, sometimes you have that pressure you were mentioning. You have it, you have to do it, you have to fight through it, but you're still feeling burned out, right? So what is your way to get out of it?
Jonathan, why don't you kick us off there?
Man, that is a really good one because I'm currently in a burnout. And in fact, my therapist come like 2 weeks ago is like, hey, you need to slow down because you're about to go into a shutdown, which is the next level of burnout, by the way. It's not a fun one because you won't be able to carry on doing what you're doing. But for me, it's a classic thing that everyone tells you is set good boundaries. Make sure you give yourself space to do the creative things that you want. But for me personally, it's try to slow it down and external pressures, realize which one of the external pressures or which one's yours and take off your foot off everything and then realize the external pressures. Is that really an external pressure? Or are you convincing yourself that that's an external pressure when it's just your foot still on there? Like if you were actually to stop, would it still stop? Would everything break down around you? And usually it's not the end of the world. And then when that finally happens, for me, that's how I get through burnouts, is by slowing down, taking a step to take a look around me. And in fact, now I get up early, I do exercise, get going. Middle of the day, I try my best to do this, but take 10 minutes to just breathe, do a meditation. At 5 o'clock now, I go and literally close my blind, turn off all the lights. I call it my blackout space. So even if I try to open my eyes and think, well, there's nothing to look at. It's black. It's time to turn off. But yeah, that's what I do myself.
Rather than have us each go, I'm going to bounce around between you guys for each question so we can take more questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
So, John, really quick, do you want to talk about how you snap out of your funk sometimes?
How I what?
How you snap out of your funk? How do you, like what did Dave said? Like,
Yeah.
how do you get out of the burnout?
I think for me it's important to have a hobby besides my hobby, because this started as being a hobby, but eventually it starts to feel like work, and then you have no way to escape from it. So I always I like making music, so I'm creating my own songs, but I'm not publishing it. And if it's not finished, then and I don't feel like finishing it, then I don't finish it. No obligations there. So I think it's important to have something else that don't have any obligations, and you can just enjoy doing it. Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, that's great. All right, let's do another question. Who was it? Yeah, here, Drew.
Thank you. Just wanted to ask everybody. I heard the word used a couple of times before, but what's your definition of consistency?
Definition of consistency. What feels consistent to you, Pierre?
I don't know, to be honest. Like when I started content creation, I had this idea of being consistent was uploading once a week. That's why I did it. But consistency to me now is just doing what I do and reaching an end result at times. Like whenever I'm done, I have an end result and then I start again. I'm not sure if that's a good answer or not.
Yeah, I think it's. Carlos, what do you think?
That's a hard question over there. I don't know, because maybe be truthful to yourself, like not trying to be anyone else just for the algorithm's sake, like trying to be you and be consistent with that, and don't be a character that doesn't show people who you really are. I think for me is that the consistency most important kind of things. Because
that was a lot better answer than mine.
But I also think that you mustn't be too consistent. So you are yourself, but you're going through life, you're getting older, you learn stuff. So you change over time, and you see with a lot of creators that they change over time. They are different than who they are a couple of years back. So it's like you're on a journey. And so if you are too consistent by trying to be always the same, then it can become blunt.
Yeah, well, that's a good answer, because I was in Dallas this beginning of the year, and I was talking with a good friend of mine who's a content creator. He was saying to me like, my videos, I'm like the crazy dude making this and that, but I'm having, and I will not say names in another, but I'm having a bad thing going to the family right now. I don't feel well like creating content, being that kind of guy. And I was like, well, just stop a little bit. Like burnout can become of that. And also I agree with you, like you are not going to fake it, right? So if you are in a different evolution of yourself, maybe you just need to adapt the content, right? So I do agree, like maybe having this vibe all the time and it doesn't align for the same person that you are right now, it can be really tricky. So
Yeah. All right, we got time for one more.
Thank you, guys. First of all, how do you deal with the uncertainty? If you have a job, you have a backup. You know, you get paid if you're sick, and you have a you have to stop. How do you deal with that? Do you have a safety net? Yeah.
Jonathan, what's the safety net?
The safety net. The safety,
There is no safety.
There is no safety net. No, it's at the end of the day, it's everything has a risk, and you've got to find your own risk level that you're wanting to do and what you consider is a good enough safety net. But one of the things that makes this hard is the risk. So that's another part that burns people out, is because you've got that. So you've got to find what is a good enough safety net for you, and then decide, am I going to jump from this cliff right now and be like, I'm either going to fly or I'm calling that my safety net.
Pierre, bring us on home here.
Yeah, well, I used to be a teacher, as I said, so I guess that's my safety net. God forbid, but I could go back to teaching kids about Swedish and religion, but I hope not.
Well, guys, this has been really awesome. Again, I would encourage all of you, if you have more questions for them, they're going to be here all weekend. Please approach them. Thank them for all their stuff. If you don't follow them, please make sure to look up each of their channels. Very special, very talented creators here. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Round of applause for everybody here.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Project Zoom.